What's up, marketers? A few weeks ago, I asked you to send me some of your real ads to review and analyze, and some of you sent me your entire ad libraries, which is a whole lot different than just reviewing a single ad. Now, I've looked at thousands of ad libraries in my time as a media buyer and now a creative strategist. And this is actually something that I do while conducting research with every single brand that I'm working with, because it really gives you a snapshot of their performance branding identity as it is now, and it gives you a peek into what they are currently testing. Now, what are the things that I look at when analyzing ad libraries? Number one, I'm going to be looking at the number of different formats being tested, aka do they have creative diversity? And I'm going to be looking for quick wins with inside those content gaps. I'm also going to be looking for strategic messaging opportunities that they have as it relates to their audience, the certain awareness levels that they're targeting, and also looking for opportunities where they can inject desire or more emotion. I'm also going to be peeking into their top performing creative, aka their creative that has been running the longest, and also taking a peek at those landing pages. I promise that you are going to learn a lot by analyzing these ads with me, so please be sure to give me a like and subscribe. I've actually been coming out with a ton of new formats for this channel. I've been doing in-depth interviews with some of your favorite marketers. I've been doing street interviews and live ad analysis. So if you want to keep on seeing more of those different formats, it'd really help me out if you subscribed. That was kind of painful, wasn't it? I think we're okay. Let's dive into these ad libraries. First one up, set in by Cole Wiltzer, is Instant IV. Now, they don't have a ton of creative running. I think actually they only have about 7 ads currently running. Now, immediately I look at this and I'm like, who's this for? Okay, it looks like the gym guy. So maybe this is the founder. I'm not really sure, but this seems like that's who I'm seeing currently in these ad creatives. And that's also who it's going to be delivered to based on who's in the ad. And the other thing I'm seeing here too is, the powder hydration drink market is pretty saturated, right? There's Liquid IV, just very close to Instant IV. There's Hydrant, there's Peak, there's ton of other ones. So immediately what's standing out to me here as an opportunity is, why should someone go with Instant IV over the other ones? So if they haven't done any comparison ads, us versus them, that's honestly the thing that I think is going to be a very big unlock for them. Another thing too is with this features point out ad, it visually looks pretty solid, but we're not actually getting the benefits from these ingredients. And I'm also a little confused by the tagline, how do you hydrate? I'm not sure that this is actually the right question. Maybe they could twist that knife a little bit further and try something like how to hydrate before the gym for the best performance, or something that could give a little bit more indication for the audience that's testing as well. Right now, I think the awareness level that a lot of these are at are pretty problem aware, but not exactly brand aware. But I think people that are primed to buy this already know the multiple options. So it's more about convincing them, okay, why should they go with this option?
Woo! I don't know about you guys, I used to carry a gallon of water, chugging it in the gym, thinking that it was going to hydrate.
Yeah, gym guy.
About to hit my afternoon run, you know what?
I like this ad, quickest way to replenish your electrolytes. I actually wish that that would just be on second zero, because even though I kind of like the stir, you're gonna miss a lot of people that aren't actually primed for this solution to this problem. So I would try and make sure that your ad or your product, especially if you're in the early stages of testing, can be understood on second zero, or else people are just gonna scroll right by. All right, next up we have Hummy, which are plant-powered snacks. Now, I actually thought that this might have been a cannabis brand, so I had to go to the website and check it out just to make sure that I wasn't, wrongly interpreting this. Also, this branding looks exactly like the Emmy ramen branding to me, so I'm not sure if that's intentional or if they're affiliated. But as far as formats go, okay, we have some bullet point style ads, us versus them, video that's combined with PowerPoint, which is pretty solid. Same. All right, a different take on an us versus them, another take on an us versus them. They probably found quite a bit of success with targeting an awareness level that's like, yeah, here's the thing about candy. It's like, what problem are you solving? So like when you're thinking about awareness level as like pain aware, problem aware, it's like, you really just have to kind of jump ahead. And if you're selling on direct to consumer, which I think that for products like this is really tough, you're going to have to do more comparisons and show why you're the better option over something else. So I think they're doing a pretty good job at this. I will say, I don't know who the audience for this is, right? It's obviously healthier candy or healthier M&Ms, but I am really uncertain about if this is for more of the Gen Z type of person, millennials, or what. And that's something that as they are getting more reviews and starting to analyze their customer base, I'd encourage them to take a look at who that is so that they can develop creative that's going to speak to those people more. Because I think there's a lot of angles for, oh, I wanted to get these for my kids because they're healthier, or even I wanted to eat these for myself as like a nice treat at the end of the night. But those storylines aren't really here, and I'm left wondering, okay, who is this product actually for? All right, next up we have Ecentric India, which is an apparel store. They have some DPA ads running, a few like lifestyle-y DPA ads running. It might also just be entirely DPA. Okay, they have like a features point out ad carousel here, which is pretty solid. A little video. What's going on here? A little GIF. Not bad. They're combining men and women though, which I think could actually make the targeting for that ad harder. So I would recommend that they actually split out between their men and their women. The challenging thing with this brand is I actually think that their imagery and their branding is incredibly mismatched with the core value prop of their brand, which is comfort, right? It's what's written on their landing pages. It's also what's written inside a lot of their ad creative. Candidly, the DPA ads and imagery feel really sanitary and boring. They don't actually look like the scenery and the setting doesn't actually communicate that comfort feeling for me. I also think the filtering is just kind of bizarre as well. And it was interesting when I was looking through their website, I actually thought, hey, a lot of their outside images actually made way more sense. And I saw a picture too of one of their stores and I was like, whoa, where is that really cool branding? And why is that not being reflected more in their ad creative? It honestly just looks a little bit outdated. Sweaty and feeling restricted during yoga. And what's interesting is like, I did not even think that this was for yoga. I guess they have it right here, but when I was looking at all of these other DPAs, and especially these background images right here, I'm like, that doesn't read yoga to me at all. And they probably have like different collections, like one that is for yoga, one that isn't. But yeah, I would highly suggest that they really reconsider the type of emotion and people that they're trying to go after, because I think as it stands right now, it's just kind of meh. All right, next up we have two brands sent in from YouTuber Nick Theriot. Really excited to look through these. First one up is going to be MASA, Medical Transport Solutions. I was actually super pleased by the ad creative that we have here. There's some really smart things going on here. Number one, they're using exact numbers and real stories from people. So these ad creators are doing a good job of speaking to the logical brain and also using that real dollar amount that stands out and like is really noticeable for people. But also they're hitting on the emotional element by incorporating some of those real stories of traumatic events, candidly. I really love this ad creative right here. I actually think that they got it from Barry's Creative OS package. What's awesome about this is like, this looks like a press screenshot ad, right? It has that social proof trust factor because it looks like World Star Hip Hop, right? But it's just a template. So this is something that can really be reused, I think, too, for a wide range of demographics. Really standard, more of those numbers. This is another, I think this is one that I actually featured on my channel before too. Shows breaking news, doesn't actually point out, where the breaking news is from because it's, a little fudged, and that's okay. This kind of creative is really gonna reach out to that 40, 55 plus demographic. And I think, that's really who we're trying to target here. So those strategies are gonna be quite a bit different than like the hot new D2C brand. Yeah, we have a lot of really good options here. Ooh. Are you sure you're covered? I wonder if they're doing a test here. Hard to say. I would definitely try split testing this initial question though. Maybe, are you sure you're covered? But maybe potentially, because there are a finite amount of 55 plus users on Facebook, maybe you can even see if you can try targeting people who are taking care of their parents. Like, are you sure they are covered? And take more of that parental angle. I think that could be also interesting as well. Honestly, solid job here, Nick. Another one from Nick, Simple Painting. I think this is a really cool product, and they have excellent UGC creatives. Now, at a really quick glance, when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, okay, they are really relying a lot heavier on UGC. I know Nick. I know that he is someone who's probably tested a lot of different creative formats, and this is ultimately what I imagine worked out best for him. But if I was looking at this ad library just as someone who doesn't know Nick, doesn't know the brand at all, I'd be like, hey, we need to try and get some more creative winners out of different formats. And I think the type of formats that could be potentially interesting here would be like a features point out image, potentially even a before and after, because I think there is something really visually about what the paintings or like paint by number options look like before and then after. More on that in a second. Now, I think some of the hooks are really cool and they do a really good job of reaching out to their target demographic.
If you know your boyfriend, which painting would he choose to paint with you this Valentine's Day?
That's a cute one, targeting people who are trying to do something fun with their boyfriend.
This is the only thing that works whenever I need to relax.
People who need to relax.
This is for all of my ladies who need a self-care night.
Ladies who need a self-care night. They also had like one for spooky girls. So I think that what is going on here with the scripting is they're doing a really great job of being able to, you know, call out that demographic. Now, what I will say is a lot of this is using like tracker or drip down text. And if this hasn't been tested before, I'd say let's make sure to try testing that so that all of that text shows up on second 0 or second 1, so that people who are scrolling pretty quickly, that might actually stand out and reach them. Because if someone identifies with spooky girls, they might not stay around for 2-3 seconds to watch what's happening here without like seeing that first initially. Another thing that I think too is some of these you don't actually see the paint by numbers initially, and I think it could be really cool to show the before and after, and also tease the people that maybe feel like they're not as artistic, because I think some people might look at this and be like, oh, what if I'm not artistic enough for it? It could be really cool for someone to be like, I made this and I am not artistic at all, and like talk about that story and show how like really simple the paint by numbers aspect is. I can see here in some of them they do show those numbers, and I think like having that number cue so that people know it's paint by numbers is really important. Next up, we have the Pink Moon sent by Divya. Now, immediately I saw this features point out sort of carousel, which I think is a good idea, but I think something that your customers don't know what a USP is, and I don't even know that this really is the correct USP, unique selling proposition. I do think that the fit could be helpful, but I also don't really love how it's being shown on the ad itself. I don't like the transparent background. It actually has a hard time sticking out. So this one, I can't imagine that it's going to work, just because I think people are going to be confused by some of the language here. See, they have a few videos. Sometimes videos like this for fashion work. I think they have the right demographic in their ads, and they're showing up close, which I think is also really positive, because a lot of times with fashion and apparel, people want to see the fabric up close. It's kind of a texture play. I don't know why they have the barcodes here. It's a total waste of space. This, compared to some of their newer ad creative, actually looks really elevated. I like these a lot, but some of the other ones make it look like a way cheaper brand. This is pretty nice. I think they can take away the dresses and tops. Like, people get that. Plus size winter wear. I actually appreciate that better. I think they should try, let's see, COD available. I think the size range is really important for plus size demographics. Easy returns. Now, I would actually play around with showcasing this instead of an icon format in more of a bullet point format. I have a whole bunch of examples of these inside my course, but I'll show a few here right now that they can easily replicate. And I would also suggest, you know, I think it's cool that they're doing a number of carousels, but I think that they could try and combine some of these points into a single ad. I don't know why they're spreading them out like that. And full stretch comfort. I mean, in theory, that's been running since November 17th. So I think the power suiting angle is really solid. Ooh, they have this too. How to make a court set look like a night suit. It's interesting. The further back that you go, I actually think like the further back the branding and the ad creative looks better. And like, this is the stuff that has been running the longest. And they have some UGC, maybe some influencer content.
Plus size.
Honestly, I could really see that working well for them because they are talking about being a plus size woman, how hard it is to find clothing. That's solid. But yeah, I just think some of their new ad creative just like doesn't look as good. All right, next up we have Lucky Golf. I have no idea what this brand is, but a lot of times when you're targeting people for the first time on Meta ads, they're not gonna know either. Okay, Short Game Master. So they're selling wedges and putters, the only game that they want. Now, when I step back from that ad, I don't actually know what the product is. So if this is an angle trying to target women for men, I just assume that's what that might be for. You might want to try using an image that steps back a little bit and shows it a little bit more. And I also think these features for the ad creative aren't necessarily going to stick out to someone buying that gift. We want to inject more emotion here. Maybe we could try something here, get them the gift that they really want. The only goal that they want, I don't know. It's just not doing it for me. Let's see.
They're half the
price. Okay, so the value prop here is half the price, perfect for the golfer in your life. I like the person they're using this for. I think talking actually a little bit more about the husband angle and diving a little bit into that story could inject a lot more emotion to this, because as it stands now, it's just kind of
half the price compared to the big names. Exciting news, lovebirds. This year, I wanted to add a touch of gold to his game, and Lucky Wedges would be perfect find. After catching him eyeing them recently, I decided to explore, and guess what?
This creator is literally just making this ad for a quick buck. It's just very monotoned. I wish we got the story there. I can't imagine that's working, but they do have some other let's see.
Who wants silver when you can have gold at a fraction of the price? These wedges are forged from 1020 carbon.
A little bit better.
New year, new swings. This 2024, let's talk about resolutions that truly matter for every golfer. These
clubs have had everyone on the course asking questions.
Cart girls, is that a thing? I wonder if instead of cart girls, they could talk about flexing on their guys. I feel that's way more feasible.
I've already felt more control and spin around the greens. These clubs.
It's not a dream, it's a game changer. It's not a dream, it's...
What I want from some of these videos and I'm not getting is what's the main value prop here? It's gold. It looks fly as right? It's this is a gold putter, and then talk about some of the benefits. This improved my swing by XYZ. This improved my game by XYZ. I don't know golf. I've only played Top Golf. Talk about some of those benefits a little bit and why it's better than just buying a random thing from Dick's Sporting Goods, and then inject some humor and emotion to it. I think that this is a good solid try. I also think they could really do just some of the standard true performance creative, get us versus them in there, why it's better than Dick's Sporting Goods or a sporting goods store. Get a features point out so that I actually understand what the benefits are. I know that they're up here, but some people just aren't going to see that. And if it's being targeted on Instagram, no one's going to see that because it's just going to cover up. All right, last one. Begin learning. 3 ways Begin solves I'm so bored. That's pretty good. A good bullet point ad. 5 things Begin teaches your kids in just 3 months. Horse girls, creativity. I don't know why they all begin with C, and I don't think that helps. It probably actually hurts because it just looks a little forced and weird. Okay, here's a good alternative one. I love that. Us versus them. Begin memberships versus teachable. Tapping in skills that matter the most with their kids. I think people get that. Okay. I think something for all of their learning needs. I think something that I miss is what is it at first? I understand that it's a membership, but it's a membership for what? What is being sent with it? I kind of understand the effects of what it is, but I think that people might see more of the inherent value if it's oh wow, every single month we're getting books and workbooks and toys and whatever. 3 ways Begin solves I'm so bored. Number 1. I don't like that it's just a slideshow screen. No one's gonna sit and watch that. They need to also change up the imagery. Hands-on activities they can do themselves. Award-winning learning apps your kids actually play. Books they love to read. Something I've learned when advertising products that are essentially for kids is you are not actually advertising to the kids, right? You are advertising to the parents. So really think about the angles that you're taking as it relates to how it's gonna benefit the parents as opposed to just kids, because all these are just saying hey, this is how it's gonna benefit the kids, but how is this gonna benefit the parents who are actually making making that buying decision. Number one, parents can let go of the guilt of giving their kids something that they're actually going to learn instead of giving them an iPad, right? Maybe something else that could be really helpful is like, hey, instead of bringing an iPad out to dinner, we actually bring one of these books, and that makes me feel really good. Another thing I'd look into too is like some of the reviews that you can use, because I think the reviews could tell a lot of the story here. So again, we're getting those benefits, but like, what about the transformation? Like maybe we could look for a review that shows, hey, my kids improved in reading and math by X amount, and be really specific by what that looks like. Or maybe like the teacher complimented the student to the parent, and we got a look at what that compliment actually was, and really think about the ways in which parents struggle, right? Like no one feels like they're doing parenting right. Everyone's always judging. So what if we flip that on its head and was like, the other parents at the school drop-off line were asking why my child is so advanced in their social skills or math or whatever. Think more about the emotional benefits of the parents by reinforcing that they're doing a good job parenting. Wow, I hope that makes sense. And that's it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a comment. I will see you guys next week. Bye.